polynomial long division. All right, so if I give you guys a problem like x squared plus 3x plus 5, and then we are going to divide that by x plus 1. Let's talk about the vocabulary. What you are dividing by is your divisor, and the thing that you are dividing, this polynomial expression, is called your dividend. Now, the answer that you get is the quotient. And all of these words we talked about in elementary school, you may or may not remember. And then what's left over, if they don't divide evenly, is called the remainder. Now, the way that you write your answer or your solution is like this. The quotient comes first, and then your remainder is written as a fraction, okay? The remainder goes in the numerator, and the divisor is the denominator. Okay, so there's this nice example for you. Here are the steps to polynomial long division. You have this on your note sheet, but if you're just watching this video somewhere else, feel free to take a screenshot or write them down, pause the video. And then you have another example right here, okay, with some steps written out over here on the side. So let's actually work some problems together. Okay, here we are, 4x squared minus 8x plus 16 divided by 2x. Our divisor is this 2x, so that's what goes on the outside of our division symbol. Here's our division. And then what is being divided is our dividend, our 4x squared minus 8x plus 16. Now, it's important that you recognize these are written in descending order, our terms are. We start with an x squared, and then an x, and then our constant. So let's break this down. How many times will 2x go into 4x squared? Or that's how we would talk about it in elementary school. Let's go over here and do some side work. What is 4x squared divided by 2x? Well, 4 divided by 2 gives us 2, and then x squared divided by x just gives us x. So we have 2x. So that goes right up here. Now we multiply. What is 2x times 2x? And that, of course, gives us 4x squared. And we are going to subtract those values, just like we did with numerical long division. So 4x squared minus 4x squared gives us 0, and we are going to bring down our remaining terms. So we have minus 8x plus 16. All right, so 2x can't divide into 0, but 2x can divide into negative 8x. So again, let's do some side work over here. We have negative 8x divided by 2x. Well, negative 8 divided by 2 gives us negative 4, and x divided by x just reduces to 1. So all that we're left with is negative 4. So I'm going to put this minus 4 right up here, and then we're going to multiply again. So we have negative 4 times 2x, which will give us a negative 8x. So let's write that down, negative 8x. But again, we want to subtract this value. So I usually like to put the subtraction sign and then a set of parentheses, right? So what does minus a negative really mean? Well, minus a negative is actually plus. So if you want to, you can just change these both to plus. Okay, negative 8x plus 8x is 0. And then we bring down our plus 16. Now, can 2x divide into 16? No, it cannot. The 2x has a variable and the 16 does not have a variable. So we're done. 16 is our remainder. So again, the way that we write our remainder is we say, let's do it in purple, plus 16. And in our denominator, we put our dividend of 2x. So there's our solution, 2x minus 4 plus 16 over 2x. That's our answer. All right, last example. We have 4x to the fourth minus 26x minus 49 over 2x squared minus 2x minus 1. So our divisor is in the denominator, 2x squared minus 2x minus 1. And we are dividing that into 4x to the fourth power. But I don't have a cubic term, so it's important that we use placeholders like we did when we were working with polynomial multiplication. So let's add 0x to the third plus 0x squared. And then we have our minus 26x minus 49. All right? Take this 2x squared and divide it into 4x to the fourth power. So let's do the side work. 4x to the fourth divided by 2x squared. 4 divided by 2 gives us 2, and then x to the fourth divided by x squared gives us x squared. So we have 2x squared. And now let's multiply. This 2x squared has to go to all three of these terms. Okay, so 2x squared times 2x squared gives us 4x squared. 2x squared times the negative 2x gives us a negative 4x to the third. So minus 4x to the third, which is why we needed our placeholder right above it. And then when we multiply 2x squared times negative 1, that gives us a negative 2x squared. So minus 2x squared. Again, that's why we needed another placeholder. We needed somewhere to be able to write that minus 2x squared underneath. All right, remember we are subtracting all of these terms. So every single sign needs to change, okay? This becomes a minus, this becomes a plus, this becomes a plus. 4x squared minus 4x squared is nothing. 0x cubed plus 4x cubed gives us 4x cubed. And 0x squared plus 2x squared gives us 2x squared. And then we want to bring down our remaining terms. So minus 26x minus 49. All right, let's take this 2x squared and divide it into 4x cubed. So 4x cubed is being divided by 2x squared. And let's reduce. 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. And x cubed divided by x squared gives us x. So we're left with 2x. So I'll put a plus 2x right here. And now we need to multiply this 2x to every single term in our divisor. So 2x squared times 2x gives us 4x cubed. 2x times negative 2x gives us a negative 4x squared. And then 2x times this negative 1 gives us a negative 2x. So minus 2x. And now we subtract all three terms. So let's change every single sign. This becomes a minus, plus, plus. Every single sign changes. And now let's combine. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is just 0. 2x squared plus 4x squared gives us 6x squared. Negative 26x plus 2x gives us a negative 24x. And then we bring down our minus 49. All right, let's take our 2x squared and divide it into 6x squared. All right, so we've got 6x squared divided by 2x squared. Let's reduce that. 6 divided by 2 gives us 3. X squared divided by x squared is just 1, so those reduce. So all we're left with is 3. So we'll put our plus 3 right here, and then we multiply this 3 times every single term in our divisor. 3 times 2x squared gives us 6x squared. Oops. 6x squared. 3 times negative 2x gives us a negative 6x. 3 times negative 1 gives us a negative 3, so minus 3. And then we are going to subtract this entire polynomial. So we are going to minus the 6x squared plus the 6x plus 3. Now let's combine. 6x squared minus 6x squared is just 0. Negative 24x plus 6x gives us a negative 18x. Okay, we have 24 negatives and 6 positives, so we have 18 extra negatives. And then negative 49 plus 3 is a negative 46. And there's nothing left to bring down. So let's look. Can I divide 2x squared into negative 18x? And I cannot. So now I have a remainder, and I am going to write my remainder as plus and a fraction. So my remainder is negative 18x minus 46, and my divisor was 2x squared minus 2x minus 1. Okay? Now, side note, how else can I write this remainder right here? Okay, I want you to recognize that both of these have a negative. If you factor out a negative 1 from both of them, you can change this plus into a minus, and both of these would become positive. So another way to write that, where can I put it? I'll just put it over here on the side. Another way for us to have written this remainder right here, we could have said plus, nope, we could have said minus a positive 18x plus 46 over 2x squared minus 2x minus 1. So if you factor out a negative 1 from both of these, the numerator signs would change and we would have a minus out in front. So this remainder right here and this remainder right here are exactly the same. They're equivalent, okay? So just keep that in mind if you're ever taking a multiple choice test, all right? There you go. That's polynomial long division.